All right, we ready to go?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Let's do this. April 20th, 2025. It's Super Gamecast. We're here to talk about video games, video game industry news, all that crazy stuff. There's all sorts of stuff happening. Nintendo's got stuff going on. Sony's got stuff going on. Phil Spencer's mouthing off. We're going to cover it. I don't know why it suddenly transformed into Rick. Morty, we got to cover all these news real quick. My name's Aaron.
Morty, the news is very important.
The news is very important. You got to shove this news way up your butt, Morty. My name's Aaron. Joining me is Bronson. How you doing, man? Are you as loopy as I am?
Incredibly. I slept poorly last night. Did not help by the sickness that I've had this week.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's been good. We've been playing video games, though. And video game news has happened despite our prayers that we put out. No one listened. And we got so much news to cover. So we might as well jump into it. And we're going to start with the biggest one here, which, hey, the pre-orders for the US Switch 2s opens next week. And the price seems to be staying the same.
So the price for the console is the same.
Yes,
that's the key thing here. So the bundle and the console itself are the same. But all the accessories went up $5, and in the case of the dock, by $10. $5 to $10.
The dock by itself.
Yeah. So if you just buy a dock, like let's say you want to have two docks to dock somewhere else.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay.
So one, I'm happy about this, so I can stop checking a million news sites every day, being like, "Where is it? Where are the pre-orders?" That's the first thing. One thing that is a disclaimer in this little news post they put out. Nintendo Switch 2 accessories will experience price adjustments from those announced on April 2nd due to changes in market conditions. It also said other adjustments to price of any Nintendo products are also possible in the future depending on market conditions.
I love that they don't just say tariffs. They could just say tariffs. I think everyone knows what they're talking about anyway, so you would think.
Yeah, they just don't want to piss off a probably bunch of very dumb people.
Which, yeah, when you're as big as Nintendo is a certain percentage of your market.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I mean, this seems pretty good. All the calls to drop the price on the video games themselves. I don't think that's going to happen.
With the way the market is currently for just software development in general and how these games are getting bigger overall, no way. Someone did put something interesting into my brain for Mario Kart.
Okay.
Which is it's like that and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition, and I think two other games are $80 games, right?
Right.
That's it. Even Hong Kong Bonanza is an $80. I don't know if Metroid is $80. We don't have a price on it yet.
Right.
But with that in mind, they could be using this as an anchoring effect of oh, well, it's not as expensive as Mario Kart, and then you buy other games, more of them. So that's a thought in their mind.
Huh. Yeah. I wonder.
So,
I don't know. All I know is this is good news for us, people who have been looking forward to a Switch and new Mario Kart, because that presentation was pretty damn good. What they're showing for the future of Switch 2 and Nintendo seems really good. So
Yeah, no, I think that a lot of what they showed, I was very impressed by the hardware itself, the games they were showing. Donkey Kong looks incredible to me.
Sure.
I think that I will say I think that there may be a further coming for this at launch, even more so because of this little blurb here, though, of other adjustments to price are possible depending on what happens.
Yeah.
And then there has been a side news story kind of floating around with this,
Okay.
which is apparently, so GameStop is the only one who has them at this price, but the it looks like the amiibos are going up by $10 possibly.
I did see that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like so and it's only GameStop saying that. Like I checked Best Buy and they're still $20. So is this like another just speculation thing?
This GameStop slowly dying, and they're just like, nah, they built their collection. They can afford it. They'll work it into their budgets. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because like they put out those 4 new Tears of the Kingdom ones, and I was like, it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yep. You know, because I collect all the Zelda and Smash amiibos.
Right.
So yeah, no, but I'm hoping that that's just an error on GameStop's part. Like they forgot to swap those out. Like they were getting ready for some crazy tariff pricing, and
right.
You know,
we'll see. Right. I don't know. Like
yep.
they could be, Nintendo could be looking at that and be like angry at GameStop, but then they're like watching the discussion around it. Like, maybe they'll take that one. You know, like I don't know. Yeah. Like we've said in prior podcasts, like if the prices remain here, cool. I'll probably get a Switch 2, but I will also probably buy a little less Switch 2 games, because especially at that price, if they're going to end up being all at that price, it's like I will pass on Donkey Kong until I receive some massive money, or something. Not massive, but I receive more money than I currently do.
Oh, Donkey Kong's $70, so it's like that's.
Oh, is Donkey Kong $70? Okay, I would have pegged that as an $80 game, but all right.
Yeah, no, we don't even know what the price on Metroid or Pokemon is at this point.
I mean, Metroid. If I was a betting man, and I'm not, I'm terrible at betting, but I would put $80 for both Metroid and Pokemon.
I'm saying 70 for Metroid. Pokemon 100% is 80. Pokemon will 100% be $80.
So, because like you think about the logic of putting this new giant Donkey Kong game at $70, it just seems like, despite Donkey Kong being a big name in Nintendo, like there's just not a lot of confidence in it. I'm feeling like Metroid Prime 4, like this game that people have been asking for, definitely gets 80. And then Nintendo gets 80, or Pokemon gets 80 because it's Pokemon. Like it's not even a next mainline game or something. If they put that at 80 and then they come out with the next mainline game, I'm very worried about the price of that.
So I see, in my mind, I think they're doing it by size of franchise. So I think that Pokemon being 80 is totally the reality of that, and I think that Metroid's kind of always been a second tier franchise,
right?
Like it's popular, it's definitely like popular and well loved, but it's not
making the money.
Pokemon, Zelda, like let's see, what was the like, can you look at like Metroid franchise sales? It's not like outstanding.
Right, right.
It's like the best selling game is Dread at 3 million. You know, like that's not
3 million is nothing to sneeze at, but also you're right, like compared to what they have. But and then what are Donkey Kong sales?
Oh god, that might be even worse, but you know, search it, why not? Let's see.
So I don't know. I'm just sitting here thinking about Pokemon at this point. Like there's this gap between 80 to 100 that isn't being filled in, and I can't think of I can't think of a franchise that would attempt that
Oh,
quite like
Lord.
Pokemon would.
Yeah, Donkey Kong, like, yeah, no, Donkey Kong is like 6 million, 9 million.
Wow.
No, Donkey Kong did some numbers. Does numbers.
But see, that goes back to I wonder why they're going 70 for that. That's like a whole new thing. They're going for Donkey Kong. That's this big world.
Maybe it is that anchoring effect thing, and maybe it is to push people to get the bundle also.
Sure.
Like that's another thing that I have in mind as well. Is like they're trying to get people to spend the extra $50 for the bundle.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
I want to
those are all
find.
possibilities.
I can't find. I'm not going to spend any more time looking for it right now. But I'm very curious what new Pokemon Snaps sales were, because that was a game that was requested for years and years, and that's Pokemon. But I also get the impression it didn't sell gangbusters.
2.4 million as of December of 2021.
Okay, not terrible, but not
what you would want out of like the franchise that does the kind of numbers Pokemon does.
right. Yeah, it's a shame. Really good game. All right, so yeah, expect some Switch 2 coverage from us, provided we get some. It would be nice.
We're getting one. We're getting at least one.
He should be. It'd be nice.
Hopefully we end up with 4, like the current plan is.
That would be, yes. We will keep you up to date on how that goes, because that's happening this week, right?
That is Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific at several retailers.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Well,
yep.
Until then, we have some other news regarding the release.
I will say, in other countries, the pre-orders seem to have been pretty easy. Like, people have seemed to be able to, like, not have to go crazy to get them. So,
okay. I'm hopeful. Pray.
I'm hoping that we can log on to the retailer websites and just get one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know. Lord knows I'm gonna have Best Buy open while I'm working, and just like, all right, let's go. All right. So, hey, Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Kart World Bundle. That's gonna be a popular pick, for sure. Saving $30, but Bronson, are you there? Oh, hello. There you go. All right. your screen froze there. All right. I'm going to start from the top for the clips. Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Kart World Bundle will probably be a popular option because you save like $30. But I mean, the supply may be limited. It's also just limited by like for the year. Like they may just stop selling this after a certain point.
Yeah, so that they say on the Nintendo website for Super Mario Kart World and Mario, like the bundle specifically, it is always supposed to go through fall, which means it's only going to go until like December, like but like does that mean they're going to cut it off early maybe?
Yeah.
Like and it's just like, man, is this because they have another bundle lined up for fall, or is this just a way for like, oh, you got to the party late, huh? Yeah, I guess you're gonna pay the extra $30.
I mean, again, you're talking about a console that was expecting a certain amount of sales. Yeah, I think they're gonna take advantage of that. As like, here, if you did not buy our bundle before Black Friday and before Christmas rolled around, then you're not that crazy about trying to take advantage of the deal. So we're just going to remove
give
the
us
deal.
$30.
Yeah. These are the same people who will just remove games from existence to try and drive like the craze of sales. So
yeah, like I
think it sucks, but
I think it sucks. I do get it though, from like the business end of this, and like I just think that bundle should be an option forever. It's not like
you already don't have a bundled game with your console. like you're gonna have to buy something to get something going, unless you're just gonna play what you've already owned on the eShop.
I mean, they didn't bundle a game with the Switch, so
Right?
I mean,
Yeah, I know, but like they've experienced some
like at
success
launch,
with
by the way,
doing
everyone,
that.
I'm pointing out. I know later game models happen.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, YouTube comments. Oh,
They hold us accountable, man. It's good. It's a good thing.
they do. Yeah. Anyway.
And so I think this being like the next best thing of like, here's a well discounted, fantastic video game, sure to be fantastic, on this console is it. I understand why people would drive sales, but yeah, at a certain point, the sales will diminish, and then I imagine the numbers suggest that the $30 bump up with the amount of people coming in will be able to keep that momentum going for them financially.
I guess so. I think that they just really are counting on Mario Kart to do as well as it has the past 3 generations. And they're probably right.
They're probably right, but there is that chance that it's not. There is that chance that it could be terrible.
Well, like yes, there's a chance that it could be a bad game, or there's a chance that like it just doesn't perform as well. But like, yeah, when you look at like, 75 million units between both versions of Mario Kart 8, 20 million for 7, 37 for Wii, 23 million for DS, even almost 7 million for Double Dash. You're like, oh, yeah, okay. Okay, this series is just like so ingrained for people that like, no, yeah, okay, so do you remember that like Mario Kart like RC cars, that home super circuit AR game thing?
Yep.
Even that did nearly 2 million in sales.
That's
the 2 million units sold.
All right. Yeah.
That's
I think no, I mean we talked about this a number of times. It's like Mario Kart is one of the biggest franchises right now. Like Grand Theft Auto is one of those premier, like this is the video game, but like Mario Kart and Smash Bros, especially for Nintendo, Mario Kart and Smash Bros, I feel like are ahead of Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think if you check the best-selling Switch games list, right, like that shows. Like when you go look at the best sellers on Switch, Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, and Smash are the 1, 2, 3. Those are the top 3 best-selling games.
New Horizons came out in 2020, right?
Yep.
Yep,
March 2020.
That's gonna be an event when the next Animal Crossing's announced.
It's gonna be wild.
Yeah,
all those new COVID Animal Crossing people ain't coming strong.
Newly converted. Here we go.
But no, like Zelda, Mario, Pokemon are all up there as well. And people who buy Switches do buy games, but they specifically buy freaking Nintendo games. There is there is one third-party game in the top 20, or the top 25 Switch games here for sales.
Okay.
Number 20, it's Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And then Stardew Valley is number 26, it looks like.
Nice.
So
yeah, good call.
But yeah, so it's like they sold so many goddamn games on this thing. Like I think that the Switch has like created an entire generation of Nintendo people. And I'm curious to see how many of them are gonna be hit, like, because the prices are high. Like they're high for sure.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, I don't know, man. And maybe it's because I am already looking ahead to 2028, and I feel like the PS6 and Xbox Series Z are gonna be like $700, $600. So I'm looking at this 450, going like, yes, this is just the price of video games now.
I mean, it is. Yeah. I think, I especially think, 450 is high, but even in terms of, like, we have to remember that the Switch one, like Nintendo's been on this thing where like we're going to put out something that's less powerful than the other consoles, and we're just going to rely on the strength of our games and the strength of our brand, and it's worked for a good long time. When you think about, you know, when the latest Xbox or PlayStation console releases, like you're expecting $500, and you know that's going up. Like those are going up. So getting 450, like obviously that's pushing the limit of these other consoles, but the portability that the Switch offers, on top of being, you know, a pretty powerful console for what it's doing, for what it is, like that's actually still kind of a deal.
Well, especially because like I keep like hearing complaints like, "Oh, I can't believe that's almost as price as much as a PS5." I'm like, "Yeah, but I can't like take my PS5 everywhere with me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't like, yeah." So it's like, I don't know, man. It's just I think that a lot of this price stuff is a little overblown, and I think the $80 games, like we've talked about that, I'm going to personally be a bit choosier.
Yeah, same.
But I also think, but it's just the cost of development, and unfortunately, with publishers, they must make more every single year. And it's just like, yep, okay.
It just goes to like, it's going to be really interesting seeing third-party people trying to release a big title at $80 and then finding out, oh, we're not in that group. We're not like, I could see Madden and FIFA trying to charge that much, but like that's assuming that people want to play those games on that machine because I don't know, that's the only machine they got. They didn't get a PS5 or something for some reason.
Yeah,
but like I see that as a perfectly fine price for the amount of first party Nintendo titles that are released, and it's a price point that just doesn't make sense for a lot outside of that for the Switch.
I mean, like, I think that $80 for Nintendo games specifically is fine in my mind because they're not like they haven't nickel and dime me in like horrible ways, in my opinion.
Exactly, yeah.
Like when EA is like $80 for Madden, I'm like, why are they making a bajillion dollars on Ultimate Team?
Yep.
Dickheads. Versus, and you still can't get the game right. Versus like Nintendo's like, we made a finished game with a ton of content.
Mm-hmm.
With a ton of content and all this other stuff. And it's like, oh well, like that's.
And they have DLC, but like, you know, a bunch of stuff is in that DLC.
Like it's a lot of stuff, and all of their DLC that they put out from most of these games so far, with the exception of Breath of the Wild, comes with their online pass.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're subscribed to NSO, right, like I am, for their like $50 a year tier, which is also cheaper than their competitors by like a third of the cost.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that you're getting more value there. As Nintendo says internally, respect the value.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
But I do think that, because like I feel like if this was a new Mario or Tears or like a new Zelda or even a new Smash, there would be like way less screeching about this also.
Sure.
Because what I keep hearing is like, it's just Mario Kart. It's just Mario Kart. And it's like,
how are you not part of the group that? All right, well,
like
yeah. All right, then that's just that. If that's what the people are saying that are criticizing this move, like, then I don't know how to tell you.
So it's like
Mario Kart is fucking huge.
Yeah, like, and I bring up like, well, the possibility of GTA being possibly $100,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, yeah, but that's Grand Theft Auto. It's like a generational thing. I'm like, bro, I feel like there's a whole bunch of people who don't understand how freaking huge Mario Kart really is.
Mario Kart and Smash Bros, man, I'm telling you. Like, and then they can charge $80 for the mainline Mario and Zelda games because the more hardcore crowd's definitely going to jump in on top of the people who are just fans of the franchise. And
those games also sold amazing on Switch. Those were both over 30 million.
Yeah.
And they're best in class video games.
Right. So
yeah.
Yeah. No. Anyway, I hope everyone's able to take advantage of this bundle while it's available. We'll see, what happens with tariffs, what happens with supply, as time goes on. I don't know. We'll see.
There's so many pieces to this right now, and it's just
Yeah.
I do miss the pre-COVID world of Switch One and PS4 and Xbox Series or Xbox One, where it's just like console is announced at set price.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone go yay, and then enjoy game on console.
Yeah.
Versus now, where it's just a giant, like yeah. And then you have the people who are just completely out of touch with reality, who thought this thing was gonna be $300, and like
Right.
you know.
I mean, I still think a lot of that drama is around the games more so than the console itself. But I don't know. Maybe you're seeing conversation that says otherwise.
I'm seeing both. I definitely do see a lot more conversation about the game, but even then, like I said, I've been saying for years that if you want to put out finished great video games with no microtransactions, and their quality products that are well polished, and you treat your employees well, I'll pay $80. I'll pay $100.
Sure. I mean,
and
I wouldn't buy a whole lot of games doing that just because I can't
no, I
afford
wouldn't
to.
either,
But I'll buy a couple.
But I would buy. I would still be buying from that studio more often than not, though.
Sure. Yes.
Like, and that's the thing. It's just like, and then people bring up like, yeah, they put out DLC from Mario Kart. I'm like, yeah, bro, that was 48 tracks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Like, so I don't know. It's just weird.
Speaking of weird, Nintendo Switch 2 has a Zelda port thing for was it Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where you can repair equipment through a mobile app.
Yeah, so they're adding so for their Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they're getting Switch 2 editions.
Mm-hmm.
And though they're getting upgraded, they're gonna be 4K, they're gonna be 60 FPS, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But they're also getting a bunch of additional features. Like they do a bunch of stat tracking, and they get like daily login bonuses. So you'll get like items, and one of those rewards is equipment repairs.
Right.
So
okay.
so you can finally do repairs in those games. They're also adding like blueprints for Tears of the Kingdom. So if you don't want to like build stuff on your own and you just want to farm materials, you can just download other people's blueprints.
I saw some people complaining about that, and I'm like, I don't know, man, this game's been out. Like, just let people automatically build neat things. They want to experience the neat things that other people are building. Some people have the fun of building something on their own and creating their own thing. That's cool. But at this point in the game's life, just like, let them do the thing.
Yeah, and then there are people like Anthony who like has trouble with the concept of like, I'm going to build something to solve this problem. Like, and that's fine. Now he has an option.
Exactly.
Like I'm probably not going to use it, but I enjoyed seeing other people's weird stuff.
Yeah.
So
download the blueprint for the crucifixion cross and put those down and stick the little goblins up on top, and happy Easter, everyone.
Yep, happy Easter, Korok crucifixion.
So
put your little you need to have two goblins and then a Korok in the middle. The Korok is Jesus.
Oh my god! I better see some screenshots of that happening when I go check Reddit later. That's funny.
Oh lordy!
But I think this is a cool idea.
I do too. I think this is fine. I think this is them playing with the idea of a more internet-enabled Zelda.
I know it shows Nintendo trying some things that you would not expect them to try.
Well, and this is something that I've talked with Anthony about recently as well. Is like, this is the last generation of the old guard at Nintendo being around, because they're in their freaking 70s.
Yep.
So like, I have a feeling that after this generation, we might be seeing a lot more modernized Nintendo in a lot of ways.
this is
And
the start in a way.
yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna say, everyone, enjoy your last Miyamoto hurrah, maybe your last Ianuma hurrah here. Yeah. So no, I don't know. I think this is cool. I like this. I think that it makes these games a lot easier.
It's a game that,
But
like, because of its systems, can be overwhelming. It can be a lot to ask for people, especially then, you got kids that maybe are not, can't conceive of what's happening or what's available to them, and it's just like, just let them have the thing, And so I think that's cool. I'm glad that they're playing around with this stuff. They're playing around with this, after this game's release, well after this game's release, like.
right.
This isn't something that's going to compromise the initial experience anymore. And also, you don't have to engage with any of this. If it makes you,
I get that they're really trying to even engage with it, because they're adding a bunch of lore stuff to both of these games as well through this phone app thing, where like
okay.
if you go to select places on the map, it'll have like Zelda or two other people from the lore talk about different things. So,
I find it hard to get invested in Zelda lore when they don't really make it very clear how these games connect at all. But
it's honestly it's kind of the FromSoft thing, man. You just kind of have to
I
go out
guess.
and discover stuff. It's like they leave hints in all of them about how they're connected, especially the more recent ones. I
Right. The
mean,
recent ones seem like
obviously,
they might be more interested in trying to make a connection, since the fan base has been trying to make that connection for so long.
like they started doing that around Skyward Sword. I'm trying to find the modern timeline. Is
Okay.
is the most current incarnation of the Zelda timeline, I should say.
Sure.
Uh,
Is this official, or is this like the fan base decided that this is the
um,
modern take?
okay, so it's basically the official one, but we do have a gap essentially.
Okay.
We got a confirmation from Nintendo with that, but we have a gap, which is okay. So you have your three timelines that happen with Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
And then so yeah, your hero is defeated, which leads to imprisoning more, Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Oracle, Link Between Worlds, Triforce Heroes, and then Zelda 2. Then you have Hero is Triumphant, Child Era, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Four Swords, Hero is Triumphant Adult, Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Phantom Choo Choo. But like we don't know, we have no freaking idea where Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom fall at all.
Right.
So
So that's interesting. Okay. So then them dropping hints.
yeah, so like
Hmm.
you know, like they exist in a separate unconnected timeline is what Nintendo of Japan says.
Okay. I mean, yeah. If you don't want to be burdened by trying to stick to a timeline, then just making a new thing seems fine. And then just let the fan
See,
base like try to come up with some grand unified theory, and then Nintendo's like, okay, that's good for you guys.
see, like I am looking at it and I'm like, okay, I think it can kind of go one of two ways. I like to think that it's after Zelda 2, but then it's like, okay, well no, he was a calamity, so he had to be a force of nature. So I think you could honestly, if you wanted to squeeze them in that timeline,
Mm-hmm.
you could probably set it before like Skyward Sword even.
Where's that on the
Well,
timeline?
no. Skyward Sword is the start currently.
Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
like heaven and earth are created, and then Skyward Sword happens.
Okay. All
No,
right. Yeah.
well,
I like it.
um,
But
so you could be like the world ended, and then yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff you could do with it.
Well, there's something for Zelda fans. Nice little thing if you're still playing around with Tears of the Kingdom. There you go. Next news story. Hey, we're still talking Nintendo. Hope you're down. Let's see.
Hey, do you remember that 2-year period where it was like nothing but Xbox news, everybody?
Yeah, right. So Nintendo Switch 2 VRR mentions disappear from Nintendo's website. What's going on?
Yeah, so what's going on here is that they've removed VRR from a bunch of their official websites. They have been removed from Canadian, US, and Japanese sites. It's still present on the European, but yeah, and it like mentions VRR still, but only in portable mode. So like that's something that we're like kind of curious about. It's like, well, then what? Like, are they just removing it from the dock?
Right.
Like why would they do that?
So we're not sure what's going on
there. Sorry, what?
So we just don't know really what's going on yet.
We don't know. We just know they've removed it. VRR refreshable refresh rate allows TVs to display unconventional frame rates. So I don't know, maybe they just don't want to get in hot water for saying it like, oh, it does VRR, and then having to explain what VRR is to people who don't know.
Right. Well,
on the TV version.
And
that's
this can't be like a reaction to like, oh, we need to keep the price low, remove this feature like that. That's not a thing. I don't understand how VRR works, how it's implemented into
it's part of the screen tech. It's part of the screen tech and in the chip.
And at this point in the console's development, that's not something that they can really change, right?
Yeah, you can't go just yank that out of a bunch of already produced Switches.
Right.
So it's like maybe it is. This would be the most Nintendo thing of all time, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, so you put out so the launch units still all have the VRR hardware. You already made it, but then you disable it through a software patch, and all future ones don't have VRR.
Man, that would no. That could be what they do. It just that would suck.
I don't think it's it. I think what it really is they don't want to pay. Like, I'm sure that to get the dock running with VRR, it was some additional stuff, and they were like, "We don't want to pay to do that." So it's like, that's my best guess, or maybe it just doesn't have it at all, and someone in their marketing team screwed up real bad.
Right? Yeah, Europe's one's still up, right? So who knows?
Yeah. So maybe that's the reality of it as well. I think that if it doesn't have VRR, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Like a super huge bummer. For those of you who don't know what VRR does, it basically lowers input latency because it allows the screen to match whatever the frame rate of the game is perfectly. So if you're playing, to kind of dumb it down as much as possible, if you're playing a game at 40 FPS with a VRR display, it will almost feel like 60.
Okay.
Not quite, but very close.
All right.
And on a lower power device, like a handheld, that's a big deal because not a lot of games are going to hit 60. Besides like really well optimized games or indie games. So having the option to say, like, when Zelda Tears of the Kingdom 2 comes out in like 5 years, they can just put it at 40 FPS and they'll still feel really good. That's basically like stripping out every bit of nuance out of that discussion as humanly possible.
Sure.
So that's what, I think VRR is super important. I wasn't, when I heard about VRR, I wasn't sold on it. And then I got a display that had it, and I played some games that had VRR support on the PS5 Pro, and I was like, oh, bro, I get it. I
Okay.
very much get this because I'm playing like Spider-Man 2 in its like quality mode, but at 40 FPS. So it looks better. It looks amazing still. Like you don't get the blurriness and random stuff you get from performance mode, but it feels almost like performance mode.
Okay.
So they do a good job with it. So I think on a handheld that could be a very, very big deal.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. Well, damn then.
but the thing is though, is how many people have VRR TVs though?
Right.
Because those are expensive, dude.
Are they still expensive now?
I mean, I want to say a 42-inch is like $800.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Like, let's see, how much is an LG C4 right now? Because that's the one I have. I have an LG C4. Yeah, 42-inch is, yeah, you're looking at around $800 to $900.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is if by the time that feature becomes like more starts showing up on more affordable televisions, we'll be looking at like a Switch 2 Pro.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah. So
yeah, because like I love the feature. I swear by it now. I actually want to get it implemented in the monitors on the next PC I do.
okay.
But yeah, dog, it's a pricey feature. Like G-Sync, FreeSync, like it's like that is, and on televisions it's just regular VRR, and it is in fact very pricey. And then some companies do VRR better than others and things of that nature. So you're kind of like, oh, all right, well, I have to work with that. Yeah. That said, I hope the on unit display at least has the support.
That would be nice.
That's the hope. As much of a bummer as it would be to have that problem with the TV versions and them not to do that, I would actually be even more upset if it was not in the like screen itself.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is just a dock issue.
We will see.
We'll see.
Yeah, as we get closer to release day. I don't know.
Yep.
All right. Well, we have one last bit of Nintendo news, and it's a fun one. Let's have some fun with this one. All right.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd is great.
Paul Rudd's great.
He's fantastic. I loved him. I loved him and I Love You Man and Ant-Man.
Yeah.
He's great. Who doesn't love Paul Rudd?
Look at him having an absolute fantastic time playing a Switch 2. He is stoked.
That is the face of a happy man. He was in another comedy that I really liked from like 2008. God, I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Comedy movie show?
It was a movie. It was a movie.
I don't know. IMDb somewhere on the internet. Who knows? Who knows how to navigate there?
Role Models. It was Role Models.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one. That was a funny movie. It was that LARPing scene, dude. Every time.
I'm well past like caring very much about what's going on in Marvel movies, but that first Ant-Man movie is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I love Ant-Man 1, and I usually kind of like Ant-Man 2 a little bit, but
Ant-Man 2's fine. Yeah. But yeah, he a long time ago did a commercial for Super Nintendo, and now he's doing one for Switch 2. So I thought let's watch both of these.
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
I want to start with the 1991 commercial.
Let's party like it's 1991.
Like it's 1991. I'm gonna turn on desktop audio so everyone can hear a little bit of this in the background, so our audio listeners don't get left out. So
I was 1 year old when this came out.
Yeah. Well, so what do we know the exact date of this? Because I may or may not have been alive.
What is
the release date of the Super Nintendo? Let's see here. Super Nintendo release date. Which doesn't say, when this commercial aired, but oh, thanks for giving me the year. It says North America, August 23rd, 1991. So if this came before release, then yeah, I was not alive at this point. All right, here we go. Let's watch this.
All right, playing with man. There's some energy about the 90s, dog. the 90s got some vibe.
I don't know, early 90s, for sure. I don't know. The 90s conversation in regards, especially to energy and enthusiasm, is a weird one. Because it was like this post history, like the Soviet Union fell, and it was like either you just devolve into super boredom, or you get into crazy extremes, Sega Genesis. Like you went one of two directions in the 90s. And this clearly was going in the more energy route, which I appreciate.
F-Zero, that was a good game.
Can you imagine how blurry playing a Super Nintendo on a drive-in theater screen would look?
I mean, it depends. If it was a screen, I mean, back then they kind of used to account for that, right? In the game dev. Nowadays they don't. It's all LCDs and LEDs, so probably look like shit.
Yeah, it's cool. It's Paul Rudd doing stuff, and that's a few years before I think he would show up on Friends, and
before he became the international superstar.
Oh yeah, and so now we're gonna watch the Switch 2 ad with him post all of these things he's been in. Is a household name.
Apparently all that old Paul Rudd commercial went viral like a couple months ago.
Oh, okay.
So I guess they're kind of hopping on the bandwagon for their own product.
I guess we'll see how much effort they put into making this to see whether they reacted to that or they were already ahead of the. They were already ahead of it. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, all right, let's hit it. All right.
Smoky living room.
When you decide to step up to this kind of play.
I like how they put F-Zero 99 on the home screen as like a little nod.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's a nice little.
This kind of experience.
Nice jacket, Paul.
Why are you dressed like you're in a boy band?
Nice little throwback there.
With my long black duster,
Yeah. You have to see the smoke machine in the
It's good.
Playing with power. Come on.
Ooh.
Paul.
Lisa.
I can't wait to tell my class how I clowned you guys.
That's a lot of lip out of you, Lisa.
I gotta say, I don't want to buy the camera, so I hope it works with third-party webcams because I have a spare. I think doing some game chat video with this, we could think of some dumb segment for this.
Oh, of course.
We can think of something stupid.
But you're gonna lose.
Lisa, get down. You're not allowed to be up there.
Oh,
This
Lordy.
is
Is a burger, and you know
they are really going in on this.
Exactly. It means something good.
I think it's a great feature for like kids or people who just own a Switch.
Yeah.
I will say this definitely does feel like a feature that was developed in the middle of COVID.
Super together.
Yes, for sure. And
I mean, I think back to like when I was a kid and all I had was, like I had a GameCube and like that would have been a feature my friends and I used, like Melee.
I mean, yeah. Did we say in the price increase how much the camera is going to be?
It's gonna be $55.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I hope there's third-party support.
I already have. I have the nice webcam I use for this, but I got a potato webcam that I use for other stuff. So.
Well, exactly, and I'm looking to try and upgrade my webcam for the show. So moving this over to the Switch would be nice. But we'll see.
I actually thought of a really fun idea for a Smash Brothers game in this camera feature.
Okay.
So in Smash Brothers, when you get a smash tech that kills, it like stop and freeze frames for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You have the camera pop up with the person's face reacting to it.
Yeah.
That would be
That'd be funny. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see how many people get the camera first of all. Like we need to see what happens there.
This could be one of those Nintendo features that like 5 games uses, and then everyone else is like, "This is stupid."
Right? Yeah. Like this needs to be.
That said, the superimposed faces in Mario Party is amazing.
Yes,
that is some amazing shit.
That's funny stuff. I wonder. I really wonder how that might get used. We'll see. But. Anyway, I think that's fun. I'm glad Paul Rudd came in, did his little cameo, and even had like some scripted banter, like which was better than what we see at E3 usually. So, yeah, I don't know. That was fun. I'm glad they did that. That was fun.
Good time.
Yeah. All right. That is the end of PlayStation news. Or PlayStation. That's the end of Nintendo news. We're going to talk a little bit
the
in
start
PlayStation.
Of PlayStation news.
Yes. So let's go ahead. They actually don't have too much, but the beginning of something we have been fearing. PS5 Digital Edition price has been increased in the UK, Europe, and Australia again.
I mean, so do you want to hear my conspiracy theory about this?
Okay. I'm all about it.
Wrap the tinfoil around my head.
Uh-huh.
I think that they are preparing for tariffs or were preparing for tariffs. But because the USA is like by far PlayStation's biggest market, like it's like 60% of their user base, they were like, okay, we need to make up this difference somewhere else because we can't afford to raise price in America. So we're just going to do it in the rest of the world.
I mean, that may be the case. I don't know. Like that seems shitty, but I get it. And then when the tariffs do hit, like maybe that changes things to hit harder than they already are. Like so. Yeah, this is gonna be, and that's for the digital edition. So
yeah, but they're also lowering the cost of the disk drive.
Oh, really?
Well, hold on. And they're upping the cost of the disk drive version as well. But the disk drive itself looks like it is getting a €10 price cut. So that's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this sucks.
I know this is not a great story, and I just don't think it's going to be the end of that talk.
No, I think that we are screwed. We have like very minimal improvements we can make design wise on consoles at this point, like in terms of like reducing cost. Like you can't shrink the wafer anymore.
Right.
It's hard to make them less power hungry without increasing price. Like straight up. So I think that there's that. And I saw a comment I saw a comment on what was it, Jeff Gerstmann show earlier this week regarding this.
Yeah,
I'm actually gonna pull that up because it was exactly 100% true of what the situation is. The short version is like they literally cannot make these cheaper at the moment without cutting something out in a big way. So they're just screwed. Yeah, here we go. Here it is. The hardware price situation might be unprecedented, but it was inevitable and will be true going forward. The reason why consoles historically got cheaper was because it was possible to significantly reduce cost. Now it's not. If you look back at chipset reductions from PS2 launch to PS2 9K, for example, they went from 250 nanometer to 65 nanometer over the course of its life. The chips were massively cheaper, and they more than halved the power draw in this process, so less heat to dissipate, meaning they can put it in a smaller housing, smaller and lighter packaging to make shipping cheaper. Not only that, they're making less progress in reducing these things today. The cost to manufacture the same chips is rising about 10% a year. This won't be specific to this generation. It's locked indefinitely, short of some chip manufacturing quantum leaps. It's one of the reasons why people bemoaning cross-generation titles aren't being reasonable. Publishers have no choice because first parties have no option to combat the cost of entry now. Which... I mean, it's true because, I mean, when like the PlayStation 4 even only got like one big meaningful price cut. You know,
right?
Like went from 400 to 300,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Switch never got one.
Yeah,
The Switch did get the Switch Lite, but it never really got one. I think that we just might be in a world now where you're not going to see consoles price drop. You're just going to see a new console roll around.
That seems to be where it's at.
Which, yeah, it sucks. And it sucks on the PC end too, by the way. Like, the PC end just... Oh, it's a nightmare. It's even worse. Yeah, you know, it sucks. It sucks real hard because, like, we have right now GPUs are at 4 nanometer process.
Mm-hmm.
They can cut down to 2, and then they're done. They don't really have anywhere else to go. So you make them bigger. You make bigger consoles and bigger GPUs to compensate, or you just have to realize we have plateaued, and we need to do until quantum computing becomes a mainstream thing, however many decades that may take. We are stuck right now. You know, we're stuck. This is the graphic expectation. Now, we aren't entirely stuck on portables yet. Portables still have room to grow.
Yep.
But even then, the cost isn't going down.
Right.
Like it's just you don't have these big jumps anymore. You can't like be like, oh man, Switch 2 is now $1 bajillion cheaper to produce. We can sell it for $100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yep. So I don't know. I think just on the user end, if you're tired of these rising prices, then you gotta put your money where your mouth is and play some of these smaller titles, man.
Well, I was having a talk about like if the tariffs actually went through, right? Like that was a conversation I was having, and people are like, well, what system do you think people will buy if those tariffs actually happen? I'm like, then they'll stick with what they currently have.
Right.
Which whatever they have, which right now that if current indicators or anything, they have a lower mid-range PC, a PS5 or a Switch 1.
Mm-hmm.
That is what most of the audience is. Like it's one of those three places, or a PS4 in some cases.
Yeah.
So it's like that's where the audiences are now. PS4 is finally stopping in games, and they finally stopped support of it in Japan as of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, they're like, yeah, it's going to be, most people are going to be just stick with what they have. Like I believe 2028 is the speculated date of the next PlayStation. And I think that you're not going to see them move over to that because people already aren't seeing the advantages of the Pro. Right. Unless you're like, unless you're like a Giga enthusiast or you stare at this crap all day, like I do, like, you're probably not going to notice that big of a difference for a lot of people. It's a big part why, like, I always tell people, like, well, no, you're honestly, like, before you upgrade your graphics card, upgrade your monitor, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's the game plan right now. And it's true because, like, yeah, man. No, it's we have plateaued effectively for the time being. Consoles, I want to say, are on 8 nanometer. So consoles still have like one big jump in them left.
Okay.
They got like one left. They got one big one left. while still keeping boxes and price at a somewhat reasonable area.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be it. And I think that this is there's gonna be a lot more stuff when it comes to portability that starts to become important.
Yep.
There's so many rumors about the next gen Xbox is gonna be a hybrid like the Switch.
Right.
There's a bunch of stuff regarding PlayStation is working on a hybrid. And that's because hybrids still have places to go. Like you can still do stuff to like make a good hybrid, and it's also cheaper to develop for the publisher, for the like third parties and people making games.
Yep.
It is a lot cheaper to make a game that runs on Switch 2 than it is to make a full-fledged game that makes the most of a 5080 or makes the most of even a PS5.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yep.
It'd be nice if they went more in that direction. And things getting more expensive may help that, but for now, like this is just it just sucks, and I don't think it's the end of it.
No, I definitely don't think it's the end of it. I think that Anthony and I were kind of talking about how we're excited for Steam Deck 2 whenever it rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
And Steam Deck is currently $400. We totally think Steam Deck 2 is going to be 500, 600.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that's a reality that we're kind of preparing for.
I don't think that's a bad bet at all. But
yeah.
So all right. We have a news story that I find really interesting. Because Yo Dog Respawn. Respawn's a fantastic developer, and they revealed a new game. So
they did.
Yeah, it's Star Wars Zero Company, which is a gritty Clone Wars story.
Yeah, and this is going to be a tactical shooter. They'll embark on a campaign of tactical operations and investigations across the galaxy. Between missions, they will develop a base of operations and gather intelligence through a network of informants. Players will have the freedom to create and customize their own squad of recruited operators to know a cast of newly authored Star Wars characters. Yeah.
So by tactical shooter, we're talking like XCOM?
So it looks like the game itself, like they only showed a CG trailer. But it looks like they're making Star Wars XCOM.
Okay,
is what they're making.
All right.
Well,
it's an interesting choice for Respawn.
Look, I have a joke with Respawn right now, and they're gonna be doing anything but Titanfall 3 forever.
I mean, yes. I guess this is them being like, we figured out the shooter. Let's try something else.
I mean, I also think that Respawn in particular has a whole, like, they have a department now that just works on Star Wars games. Like, that's it. There's just the Star Wars games department.
Yeah.
And I guess that they finished Jedi Survivor, and they're like, what do you want to work on next? And they're probably just like, I don't know. Star Wars XCOM.
Yeah, I wish I cared about Star Wars at this point.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm gonna be real. When I first read Tactical, I was like, "Oh, are they making a Republic Commando type game?" And I got a little excited.
Yeah.
And then it was this. And I was like, "Oh, all right." I just don't like. I really liked Jedi Fallen Order, and I got like a quarter of the way through Jedi Survivor, and I'm just like, I'm good. I don't need, like, that's the exact Star Wars game I always would have wanted. It just came out 4 years too late.
Yeah.
Like, I have full access to the Force, and multiple lightsaber styles. Like, you can do dual blades, you can do one in each hand, you can do the one hit. Like, you have all these options, and it's like,
the sequels have done some damage that, like, I remember we were doing our movie reviews, and I remember Rise of Skywalker came out, and it's like, I don't know, that's mindless fun. I had an enjoyable time, and then the more I sat with what I had watched over time, just like, fuck.
Yeah, like,
man.
Like, that was a movie that, like, was so bad, like, I came out of it being like, oh, yes, that was okay. And then I like sat on it, and by the time I came into that recording, I was like, "This movie sucks. This movie sucks so unbelievably bad."
It was like I had a good time as long as I turned my brain entirely off and like didn't think about like trying to connect it to anything else Star Wars. Just like, oh, I'm gonna see an action movie. Oh, they held the little piece up, and it's like the Goonies, where it shows where the place they gotta go next, I guess, is fine. Whatever. There's horses galloping on top of the starship. Whatever. Yeah, fine. It's yeah. I just I hear Andor's really cool. I want to watch Andor. But like
I
know that thing is made for my interests, and I don't want to go back into the world of Star Wars. And I'm done.
I'm just there's just so much, and I'm so burnt out. Like, and it sucks because like I think the breaking point for me was Ahsoka. Like I watched Mandalorian season 1 and 2, loved them. They were great.
Sure,
they were fantastic. I watched Obi-Wan. I thought that show was all right, but those last 2 episodes so goddamn good.
Okay.
You know, and then I skipped Mandalorian season 3. I forget why. I do kind of want to go back and watch that one.
Okay.
I watched Boba Fett and I was like, oh, this is just Mandalorian season 2.5. And then I watched Ahsoka and I was just like, I'm tired. And outside of the stuff that's like linked to the old Star Wars stuff I really like, this kind of sucks.
I mean,
and I like,
yeah.
And I keep hearing Andor is great and Mando season 3 is great, and you know, like Bad Batch is all right. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure all of those things are true. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like I am more than happy to sit down and watch old Star Wars movies. Like they got Revenge of the Sith playing at theaters right now, and I thought about going.
Interesting.
I love that movie, and I love old Star Wars. Like I am more than willing to go plop on A New Hope or Empire or like Jedi or even like, you know, Revenge of the Sith, and like just vibe out, have a good time, watch a movie. That is not like, but I will not watch. I don't care about new shit, and there's always so much of it coming out all the fucking time. I'm so fucking tired of fucking Star Wars. I don't know, anyone could not be fucking tired of Star Wars at this fucking point. I don't get it. Look, I love Star Wars. Star Wars is a fucking great franchise, a great IP, and a great story. But go on Disney Plus right at this moment. And like, people talked about how Marvel was putting out a lot of shit, and they were.
Yeah.
It does not even compare to the amount of fucking content that Star Wars is putting out all the fucking time. Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, Star Wars Acolyte, Star Wars Visions, Lego Star Wars Rebuilt the Galaxy, Star Wars Andor, Star Wars Obi-Wan, Star Wars Light and Magic, fucking Star Wars Skeleton Crew, Star Wars The Bad Batch, The Mandalorian, Star Wars Ahsoka Sabine's Loth Cat.
What?
Yep. It is a help babysit Sabine's Loth Cat, Merle, while she explores the galaxy. It's a 2-hour, 8-minute thing you can watch on Disney Plus. Fucking
all right.
Star Wars Tales of the Empire, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Masters and Apprentice, The Making of Ahsoka, Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Biomes, Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, Star Wars Vehicle Fly-Through, Star Wars Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Lego Star Wars Droid Tales, Star Wars Galaxies of Sound.
Oh, okay.
Star Wars The Resistance, Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales, Lego Star Wars All Stars, Lego Star Wars The New Yoda Chronicles Race for Holocrons. There are a whole bunch of other Lego Star Wars shit, a bunch of documentaries,
Sure.
like Jesus fucking Christ.
And of course, not all that is meant to appeal to us. None of us are watching the Lego Star Wars stuff. That's for the kids that have Disney Plus. I get it.
I get it, but like Jesus aged Christ. Well,
And part of me, like, this says it's a Clone Wars story. I'm sitting here thinking, like, I wonder how cool it would be if they just took the Zelda route, like we were talking earlier, and just be like, you figure out where this is on the timeline. We're just making something with the general vibes. There are lightsabers, there are blasters, there are mercenaries, there's droids, whatever, and just leave it the rest of it to individual creators to make a cool story. Isn't that what those shorts were kind of about? What was that thing?
I know. They did that anime that was all right.
That's what I was
like a bunch
thinking
of vignettes.
Yeah, that seems like more. I haven't watched that, but I kind of want to check that out because that seems like the way they should go. Because I don't care about the larger story anymore. I do not care. I don't. Whatever.
Look, this. If I was in charge of Star Wars, which that would never happen.
Yeah.
But I would stop all of it for like 2 years, 5 years. Nothing comes out. The park at Disneyland stays the same. Everything just like we finish up all the projects we're working on right now, and then it all stops for 5 years. And we just make one really good movie.
I mean,
and we put it out.
That's how Star Wars got big, right? It was like they had people writing novels, and then every 20, 30 years or so, here's 3 good movies. And then we're leaving, and then you can make some video games. They made video games, a bunch of video games throughout, but
yes,
as far as like visual, like movie and TV shows, it was like 3 things, and then maybe a show.
We're including video games. Star Wars Outlaws came out last year.
Yep. Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's a lot. And at this point, I'm just like, just give me the fantasy sci-fi vibes. There will be the music and the lightsabers and the blasters and these helmets we're looking at. Like, sure, yeah. But
I will say they have calmed down a little bit on the video games since the 2020s.
Sure. And with Respawn at the helm of this, it's probably going to be a good game.
Yeah, probably.
So
I think it will be a good game. I'm just, I just can't. I cannot like give any fucks about Star Wars anymore.
Right, and then this has like, and again, maybe people will go and check it out purely because it's Star Wars. Maybe it's like Respawn doing this. Like that'll be enough for more hardcore people who know about the industry, may be interested in it. But I'm just like, okay, it's an XCOM game, which is not like one of my. I'm not really interested in XCOM games. I played a couple, so that's a barrier for me. Here's a story that's set in the Clone Wars. I'm so burnt out and have been done with Star Wars for so long. I think this cast of characters I know nothing about, it's going to be a real hard sell. Like, it's really going to be word of mouth. Like, the word of mouth needs to be good about this game for me to get into this.
The only way I would give a single flying shit about this game is if it is either the best one of these kind of games that has ever been made, or alternatively, it plays and is unbelievably dark as XCOM is.
Sure.
Like if it is just like the most horrifying nightmare version of Star Wars, sure. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish them the best. It's Respawn, so it'll probably be a good game.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe this is the thing that pulls us back in. Who knows?
Hey, I'm always open to it. I'm more than willing to watch or try it, but man.
Yeah. Yep. Star Wars. I don't know, man. Let's talk about something
Somewhere
else.
in a galaxy far, far away, I give a fuck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey, Elder Scrolls Oblivion. You like those games? That game specifically?
I like Oblivion a lot. Oblivion's great.
Yeah. Well, there's some leaks out regarding Oblivion Remastered. That we got some screens and we got some details.
Yeah. So I saw the screens. I'm like, oh man, they gave it the same color palette as games of the era.
Yeah. I mean,
So the deluxe edition will include bonuses such as extra weapons and horse armor.
Okay. Yup. Yup. Mm-hmm. So, that'll be fun.
God, established. So, man, just taking the piss on that one, aren't you, boys?
Yeah, that's video game history right there.
That is, yeah, that's like a negative piece of video game history, though. That's like, man, look at this legacy, this game that otherwise has a great legacy besides this thing that started this nightmare trajectory we're on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. Okay, so, yeah, it's being made by the people who are doing the Metal Gear 3 remake. They've done a bunch of other remake work. It's reportedly a visual and mechanical overhaul of the game. The game's blocking system has been inspired by Souls-like games. Sneak icons are now highlighted in the new system. Stamina system modified to be less frustrating for players. The HUD was changed to make it easier to understand and more aesthetically appealing to young players. Hit reaction also added to improve response to damage inflicted on players. Finally, archery was improved to make it more playable and modern in both third and first person. Yeah, Oblivion was kind of like a big deal for me, especially.
Sure.
Because like that was kind of the second Western RPG I ever played. A lot of. I will say I think the new color palette is worse.
Okay.
You can see this side by side screenshot. Yeah, pull up. Yeah, there you go. That bottom pair. I'm like, did you have to make it all brown, boys?
Can you not up the saturation and luminosity on the green?
All right.
Does seem like a full-on remake though. That's crazy to look at, but yeah, the color palette's something. It seems like green seems like the color here, at least from these two screenshots, and that seems to have been mostly eliminated.
Yeah, like green was a big part of that game.
All right, well, there's some green in the top portion. I don't know. Maybe the sun moves around a bit, and in a different position, it's more green.
Yeah, this could just be a time of day thing as well.
Right.
I do have really fond memories of that game, but I also partially have fond memories of that game because of what I have labeled as video game Stockholm syndrome. Because this game came out like 4 months into the 360's life. I had beaten or gotten tired of every other 360 game, and I just got done 100%ing Fight Night. And I picked this game up, and I literally just played it and kept playing it, even when I wasn't always enjoying it, because it was the only game that was out and available.
Okay. Yeah.
And I ended up loving it. I do have very fond memories of Oblivion. I also have fond memories of Greg Kasavin streaming Oblivion.
Right. Yeah. That was a thing at the time.
So yeah, that game was real good. I'm excited for it. It was the last time I really loved a Bethesda game. First and only time I actually loved a Bethesda game.
All right. Yeah.
So
it's out there. That'll be interesting. Looks like in terms of like the updates, that's a full on like new game. It feels like, and a massive project to do that for too. So yeah. Neat that that's out there. We'll see. Game is reportedly set for release this month.
That seems wild.
That
though
seems
if
crazy.
so, God damn it, that might get me to keep Game Pass.
Right. No marketing for it. No nothing. Just like, all right, here you go.
Then just shadow drop it in the middle of the night.
That's wild. I don't know. I don't know about this choice. We'll see if that happens. It's reportedly set for release this month. We'll see.
I mean, yeah, we'll find out.
Okay. Weird. Interesting. And yeah. So, all right. Speaking of things that are under the Xbox brand, we got Phil Spencer came out just recently. Last minute news story for us.
Yeah.
And
what did Phil have to say? Oh wait, no. Last minute news story. Sorry, I thought you said last minute. Like,
no. We got some more. No. But this one here. So Phil Spencer said Game Pass not for everybody. Microsoft's gaming boss reiterates he doesn't expect everyone to join Game Pass. So okay, what is the reasoning for this?
So he was doing an interview with Variety, and they discussed Microsoft thinking about subscription service. And he says, quote, "It's not for everybody." He said, "If you play 1 or 2 games a year, Game Pass probably isn't the right business model for you. You should just buy those games." That made total sense. "But I want you to have choice, so we remain focused on everything that's on Game Pass is also available to buy. I've always thought Game Pass as just another option for somebody who wants to play. We have many business models for people playing from free to play, buying games, discounted games. Game Pass is an option. So when I'm looking at Game Pass, I want to make sure the hours that people are playing continue to go up. The new people see this as a way for them to find and build their library of games, and we remain focused on that. Game Pass has been an important part of that. While he did not share new membership data, he claimed the numbers of hours people are playing on Xbox continues to grow fairly substantially, partially due to Game Pass." I do think by Xbox, they also mean like Xbox for PC, Xbox for ROG Ally, those kind of things.
Yep.
Game Pass has been an important part of that, but I don't try to solve for Game Pass specifically on its own. It's kind of part of the equation for Xbox finding new players. And then he says, Rebellion CEO recently claimed that launching into Xbox Game Pass has been a huge success for this rival game, Hatamfall.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft has been a fantastic partner to work with. They've really leaned in on helping us. They brought their skill and their scale to bear on our small project, and it's done really, really well for them. They got a good deal. We got a good deal out of it as well.
I'm like sitting here thinking like, yes, but you're not supposed to say that. You're not wrong. It's just, I don't know if you say that out loud. When you're trying to sell Xbox right now in the situation they're in, Game Pass, unless their numbers say otherwise, which I know we've said a couple times, the Game Pass numbers, it's come out the Game Pass numbers did not work out as well as they had hoped in some cases at some point. But like that's kind of their big thing right now in terms of trying to get people into the Xbox ecosystem is Game Pass. Like, because up until recently, they have not been putting out very many good games on their own. And so they're on a decent run right now. But like,
no, it's been, like they've had a pretty good run going recently. Like I've enjoyed what I've played of South of Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed Ninja Gaiden earlier in the year, and
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones was, that was one of my 10 favorite games last year. That game was amazing.
Right.
Blueprints is on there.
Mm-hmm.
So they got Blueprints on there, and like they they're gonna have that new French JRPG coming to it soon, and they have so there's that, and they have what's it
Doom's coming.
called? Doom right around the corner. So it's some good stuff, and in my case, like I keep playing COD on it.
Right. If you're still going back to playing Call of Duty, then that Game Pass plan is working.
Yeah, like it's like I like. Well, because like I'll get bored and be like, I kind of just want to play something for 30 minutes. Oh, COD's perfect for that. I'll do a couple rounds of COD and
Sure.
go dip out. Yeah, I get that they're trying to be all things for every person, and I do love that Game Pass exists, partially just because outside of GameFly, the rental market is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Redbox doesn't exist anymore. No Blockbuster, no Hollywood. Local video stores barely exist.
I know it's GameFly. It's GameFly or nothing.
It's GameFly or Game Pass.
Right.
Like PSN, like kind of has some stuff, but it's all really old. It's always like a year or two older.
They're also doing Blueprints, which is how I'm playing Blueprints, is through PlayStation's thing. So they do have a couple.
They have a couple. They usually will get a new indie on there sometimes, but like they're not doing what Microsoft is doing, where they're like, "Yo, dog, play Doom day one."
Right. Yes.
They're not going and be like, "Play Death Stranding 2 day one."
Right. Exactly. So yeah. So well, and so that's the thing though. Is this quote is like it's not for everybody, which I'm sitting here thinking like what Phil Spencer said. I'm just sitting and thinking like what you're saying is correct, but I don't think you as head of Xbox should be saying it because your whole plan is not that.
I agree. I 100% agree.
It's not a huge news story. It's just like Phil, what are we doing here, man?
I mean, you want to get me real stoked is if they were to get Game Pass somehow working on Steam.
Yeah.
So that way, so they can get Game Pass somehow working on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, I can play those games on my Steam Deck without jumping through a million hoops.
Right, but then there comes the question of if you ever want to purchase the game, because I feel like that's a portion of the appeal of what Xbox is trying to do with Game Pass is here's access through specifically our service, and then if we're going to eventually take some of these games off, and if you want to purchase them, you get a discount through us, but you are still paying us, which then Steam would be like, nuh-uh.
I guess maybe they could just, Steam wouldn't want to do that. That's the problem. Is like, maybe if you want to purchase it from us, it goes through Steam, and they just suck it up and deal with it, just so they can get subscription money from Steam people.
Yeah.
They have to do that, see if that works.
Yeah, I don't know. If there's, you want to talk about like a separate service from Steam, like people hate having to download all these separate services, but I feel like if you're creating a short list, I think Game Pass is in your top 3 if you're only going to have room for 3.
If you want to talk about like on the PC, the only ones that are not just I sigh every time they load up, it's Battle.net, it's Game Pass, and it's Steam.
Right.
But like those are like,
and for some people
Ubisoft
there's like good old games maybe, but like,
no, GOG I consider to be its own thing. Like GOG is its own animal because you can download the DRM free copies and you don't necessarily need to use them.
You don't, yeah, that's true.
So like, but yeah, like if you want to talk about like the main current day launchers, like I'm like, I Ubisoft I just refuse to use. Like if I want to play a Ubisoft game, I will just play it on console.
Yeah.
And then EA's is tolerable but annoying. Rockstar is big enough to get away with having one.
Sure.
I hate it, but like that, they are straight up big enough to justify it. So it's it's okay, it's fine. Yeah.
I just and then speaking to Variety, saying that I don't know how many people are reading Variety, to be honest, but I don't know. I just wouldn't be out here saying that.
Yeah, no, especially because it'll get picked up by everyone, everyone all around.
Right.
So
again, not saying he's wrong. Just don't put that idea in people's minds. Be like, this is a good way to check out our stuff.
Yeah, you should really be like, hey, Game Pass is the best way to play video games, dog.
If you play 1 or 2 games because like that's your budget, you put that budget towards Game Pass and get access to a whole bunch of games.
Because let's see, Game Pass is what, $20 a month now?
Oh,
yeah,
God,
$20 a month.
All right.
Yeah, you times that by 12. So, I mean, if you're buying 3.5 games a year, but you want to play more than 3.5 games, you're
yeah,
like, there you go. You're already there.
And for a lot of people, yes, it's true that it's like I have maybe a game I relax with. I have a game where I play with the guys. There are some specific use cases, and that's it. And that's true. But again, you don't want to say that when you're trying to sell your check out all our video games thing.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not much to talk about here. It's just like Phil.
Just filling around.
Come on. This is, we were talking about this just before the show. It's just like he has this vibe of I think he's sincere. I think he's down to earth, but I'm starting to wonder about that getting in the way of his business sense. I don't know. I would love to hear his thoughts on all this when it's over.
I also think he is somewhat hamstrung.
Yeah.
By by the Microsoft machine.
I mean, certainly with the larger strategy that Xbox is having to deal with.
Yeah.
I don't know. Countering to is opposed to what some people may say. I think Phil Spencer is a decent guy, especially when you consider a number of the other people who have been, in charge of video games, video game companies. But some of it's hamstrung by Microsoft, but some of it I wonder is just like he's just not. And I don't know enough. I don't know. Like, this is definitely one of those things where it's like it's going to be in a book, or it's going to be like a Shuhei Yoshida situation where he retires and he goes on podcasts and says shit. Like,
I look forward to the day that man retires, and I hope I am still alive to listen to all the podcasts about the crazy shit that went on.
Right. Yeah, because this man has been at the helm for the entirety of this massive downward trend since the TV thing.
Like Don Matrick just handed him the keys. I was like, all right, I'm outie. Good luck, fucker.
Engine's on fire. It's heading towards a cliff. I'm going to head out.
I'm going to go make $1 bajillion working on Farmville. You have fun with this.
Yeah. Yep. So... that's all right, that's enough on that. Xbox continuing to do what it does. Really hoping that portable Xbox plan is a real thing.
I hope that ends up being something cool. I hope it plays 360 games.
That'd be cool. That'd be really nice.
That's another help.
Yep. Again, other than Game Pass, I think that's their strongest point. And so if they can continue that, that would be cool. Let's see. Not great news. The news is going to get worse. Some Discord users now need to scan their face or ID to view sensitive material. They call it an experiment.
This is in the UK and Australia. A recent decision made by local governments to restrict children from accessing sensitive material online.
Mm-hmm.
Discord users may be asked to verify their age when encountering content flagged by sensitive media filter, or change their settings to allow viewing of sensitive content. Users will be given 2 verification options. The first asks them to scan their face using a webcam or phone camera, and then following the on-screen instruction. Alternatively, they can scan a QR code to upload their ID. It's a one-time process. So yeah, if users are too young to use Discord in their country and age verification determines this, they could be banned from Discord until they submit an appeal to an underage appeals process. Last year, Australia's parliament became the first country to pass a law banning social media for children under 16. The ban, which will still come into effect, requires tech companies to take responsible steps to prevent underage users from gaining access to such sites.
Can I block out information on my ID? Like, other than the essentials?
I mean, that's a good question. I imagine no.
I would like to not upload my full ID to this.
I mean, you can probably. I mean, let me.
Because like,
I mean, you just have it scan your face.
I can do the scan the face. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, you can just do the face scan, and then when you're out in public, what you do is you put on the Juggalo makeup.
Yeah.
So that way they can't detect you.
See, that's the true answer here. Is we just all become juggalos.
Mike probably did not pick that up at all.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But it just seems like that seems to be what we need to do. I think that's the answer.
Every time I think back to that Castle Super Beast news story about them talking about how the Juggalo makeup defeats the software that recognizes faces and how Clown World is our only salvation, I just laugh every time, and it gets truer and truer.
Okay, so here's I'm gonna write a little fiction story. We go into the near cyberpunk future, and there's a small group of people that have accepted the face scan and being able to see everything, and then everyone else has devolved into gangs. There's your Juggalo gang. There's your new Joker gang. There's what other face paint is there? We just come up with like
Overthrow
gangs.
gang.
Yeah, the Belot. Well, yeah. See, there's just gonna be a war against the clowns. The clowns are gonna have this interpersonal war, but then there'll be other different face paint. We got the Tiger Gang over here. We got there's some. Just face paint becomes a thing. Everyone's gonna learn how to face paint, and we're gonna learn how to do it quickly.
Everyone's gonna learn how to face paint,
yep.
and
it's gonna be
how we're gonna overthrow the government.
Yes, I imagine no corporate job will let you probably do this, but if you get like some blue collar job, and everyone just wears face paint all the time, and you just choose which one which face paint is. I don't know if I'm inclined to go Joker. I think that's the way to go. I don't know very much about Insane Clown Posse, other than their.
What about Kiss? More Kiss.
I couldn't do Kiss. That's definitely a faction that would form is Kiss, but I was never that crazy about Kiss.
I like 3 songs from them a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they got a couple for sure. I remember their arena football stadium that had ladies in cages dancing on the corners while people played arena football. It was weird.
I like Detroit Rock City. I like Love Gun.
Mm-hmm.
I like Rock and Roll All Night. Those are the Kiss songs I really like.
I remember Giant Bomb making us aware of, I think it was Jeff, saying like he found recordings of Kiss doing banter with the crowd, but with all music and like the crowd taken out, so it's just him shouting into the microphone, just like, "Does anyone here like alcohol?" And just nothing, silence. So that's fun. But no, I don't know. We'll have to circle back around to this. What's your face paint gang? Which one are you joining? So
it's hard to say.
Yeah,
it's hard to say. Like I'm inclined to.
I don't know. I can't think of them all. So gotta.
I don't know. I think The problem with the Joker gang is I feel like you'd be in with some really weird people.
You're going to be in. We are joining a face paint gang to avoid detection from the drones. We are going to be in with some weird people. That's just how it is.
Yeah, but like dangerous people. Well, like,
all right.
I think when you start dealing with Joker people,
Look, the Juggalos aren't any different. I think most of them are fine.
Yeah, most of the Juggles I've met are like genuinely really nice people. Though.
I know. Again, most people in most of these factions will be fine. It's about the people who get crazy. Those people are also most likely to take a leadership role within these factions unless they really stick to the leaderless model.
Yep.
And you can't predict that. So, I think Guy Fawkes masks. That'll be.
Oh yeah, that'll be. No. Yeah, but you
want to talk about dangerous?
That requires a mask. Yeah,
mask is different. Like I just wouldn't want to wear that all the time. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to circle back around to this. Because I
have our podcast title for the week, though.
Do you?
Wear face paint and overthrow the government.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
There'll be a smaller war within the Joker group because you'll have Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and then you'll have like traditional Jack Nicholson Joker, and then you'll have what's his name Joker, the Chris Nolan era Joker.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger Joker. And so they'll have fights. That'll be good. I think that's the way forward. So let's see. All right. Last news story.
The last news story.
Yeah, last one, which due to me messing around with my browsers, we already got a little piece preview of. But let's go ahead and get into it. Bungie won't say how much Marathon will cost, but calls it a premium title. Mm-hmm.
If it goes the same route as Sony's other live service titles, it'll be $40. Helldivers is $40. Concord was $40. It'll be $40.
So who's calling it a premium title? Is that Bungie themselves?
That's Bungie.
Okay. Yeah. $40 seems like the right price. Will they?
I mean, I think $40 if they're gonna go like, like that era, that kind of game. I do think that Bungie and Sony both massively overvalue Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this game looks bad.
Right. It could play well, but just like I don't want to. What I've seen of it, I don't really want to look at it very much. If what we saw is all that we're gonna see.
And the shooting reminded me of Destiny, which hey, that's good. Except if the enemies fight like Destiny enemies, like cool, that sucks. Because it's just more of Destiny enemies.
Right.
I just don't see. I don't get the appeal here. Like, it's not a marathon game like old Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have like an atmospheric shooter, and then like it's not like extraction shooters are a big huge thing. And then I don't know why you would play this. I like saw that gameplay. Like that, yeah. Like I don't know why you would be interested in this, other than you really like Destiny or Bungie, and you're like, I want to see another new thing from them.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious how this gets received. I just think if they do go, if they do put this at anything higher than $40, that's gonna. People are looking for any reason to write this game off. To be honest,
I think that this not being free to play is a huge fuck up. Like a colossal fuck up.
Yeah.
Like it's already a crowded year. Live service is already way too crowded as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Are you telling me you're gonna get people who are like gonna move off of Helldivers or their current live service game to play this?
Right.
Like, no, I don't. Like, no fucking way. Like, I could be wrong. Like, the problem is though, is like I've been asking Bungie to prove me wrong for a decade at this point. I'm tired.
Yeah.
How about you actually just put out a good fucking game? Like, it's this thing where just like Destiny and Destiny 2 were like a series of peaks and valleys. But we kind of forgave them because of like the peaks were so high in those games, and also because the engine was like not something they could fix. But like this game, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I just don't see the juice here, man.
Right.
I just don't see the juice. I might be wrong, but like the fact that unless they have like an amazing open beta, like if they do an open beta and it's like incredible,
Mm-hmm.
but I just don't see it. Like I don't. Why would you? I'm watching this gameplay and I'm like, why would I ever play this instead of Helldivers or Deep Rock or these other live service games I'm heavily invested in? Like I play Marvel Rivals all the time. It's one of my favorite games right now. It was free.
Mm-hmm.
Like the truth of live service also is, unless you're Call of Duty or a Rockstar game, like I'm sorry, but you have to put your shit out at free unless like Helldivers kind of got lucky, and also Helldivers was very unique.
Right. Yes. No one was quite doing what they're doing, and so I want to play, the Bungie thing. The shooting always feels good. It's calling back to a franchise that has been a part of their history, which I find interesting. And but
it calls back to their history, but looks nothing like those games.
No.
And plays nothing like those games.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not. Yeah, it doesn't help that it just feels like they took a property that just people from playing Halo like are aware of its existence, and then said, let's do this for the latest trend, and then 7 years later like great. I don't know. You got to find a reason for people to care, and I don't know how you're going to do it based on what has been shown so far.
Man, could you imagine if instead of doing this stupid bullshit, they put out like a traditional marathon, like essentially did what Doom did. Like Doom did their reboot, but also threw back to their history, and they did something similar where they put out just like a cinematic for a single player / co-op first person shooter with a really good competitive multiplayer.
Right.
Like, I feel like that would do really well and people would be all over it. Instead, they put out this extraction shooter called Marathon that is nothing like what Marathon was. Outside of some of the corridors.
Right. And it's interesting because, yeah, they've been working on their multiplayer stuff for so long, and I understand that makes money, but, like, man, if you just made, like, a really good single player, yeah, I think that Doom example... Which is funny because you look at Marathon, it's like, yep, you could see them making a very similar pivot, and it would work well. And they are going this route, and I there needs to be a reason for me to care. And I'm just like, the big thing for me, and this is a very small thing, but I'm just looking at the color palette of this. Like, people were complaining like, oh, this is Concord again because the ladies aren't sexy. It's like, whatever, like, you people are children. But I look at some of these like bright green and purples, and I'm just like, I don't want to be staring at this all the time.
I'm looking at the comments. The game comes out September 23rd, by the way.
Okay.
But I'm looking at the comments. It's like, the art style changed a lot since the first trailer. Back then, the teaser trailer embraced a gritty, surreal, and unforgiving feeling, an eerie one. This trailer felt arcadey, plasticky, and casual. very different. This is quite conflicting.
Mm.
You know, yeah, the general vibe in the comments is everyone is really underwhelmed. Seasonal storytelling. I hope they won't make previous seasons unplayable.
Right. We're gonna do this again, huh? Oh man. The last thing I want from Bungie is another franchise where they give me all the incentive to not care about what's happening.
Just the thing is, though, is this like isn't the same Bungie people though? Even that made the Halo game you gave a shit about.
Right.
Like that's another thing. Is like this is mostly by the people that ruined Destiny. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. There's just this aesthetic does not interest me very much. And again, the game could be so good that I learn to like it, and it's just in this moment where I can't experience it myself. I'm just like, this does not look great. Because it could feel amazing. All my friends could jump in on it, and we're all playing it, and it's great. But
well, like first impressions are important.
They are.
Like first impressions are important.
Yeah.
And
this stream I'm looking at right now is a PlayStation stream. It's like an hour and something. Yeah, it's an hour long, hour and 22 minutes. I think 10 of that is waiting for it. But I haven't seen this. So there's a whole bunch of discussion about what the game's like. And I've not seen this. I've only seen the gameplay trailer.
Look, this comment was funny. Babe, it's 4 p.m. Time for your 30th extraction hero shooter with seasonal content, cookie cutter characters, battle passes, and aggressive skill-based matchmaking. Oh, yes, dear.
Yeah.
This looks like it might have caught my interest in 2019.
Right. Yeah. It's just, I'm sitting here like I want to care. I want to. And there's something here where I'm looking at it and it's like, I'm willing to give it, like compared to when we saw Starfield gameplay, I was like, oh, okay. This has like, it's trying for something.
It has a little bit of juice. Like I think the shooting looks very Destiny, and that was a very positive part of Destiny.
Yes.
Like
if this is just a skin and it's like we're jumping in and doing shooter stuff, like there's so many games that do their version of that. So either they need to have something really transformative in here, or I have no reason to move over.
They need an equivalent to the Destiny raids. Like, as mad as I am about like Destiny and the way that game went over the decade that it existed to me, I always did love the raids.
Sure.
Doing Vault of Glass with you and everyone last year again was hella fun.
Sure.
Like, if they don't have something like that, I don't see the appeal here. Another comment. Marathon looks inside Escape from Destiny. I hate it here.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm very negative on this. I just
I'm trying to, this is a weird feeling. It's like pessimist and optimist at the same time. Like, I don't see much appealing to me here, but I really want it to appeal to me. It doesn't, but I want it to. And so I'm like wanting to learn more about it.
Yes, that's fair.
It's a strange feeling. I don't know. If it's just another shooter, the only way I get into it is if everyone else gets into it, which goes back to premium title. What does it mean for the price? That price could be the deal breaker.
It could be, especially because it's coming out in September. That's possibly around Grand Theft Auto. It's just like,
Yeah. Yep. So
Yep.
I don't know. We'll keep our eye on this. I'm probably gonna, when I get some free time, I'll probably watch this full presentation they did to try and learn as much as I can about it, because it just, I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, that is a show, everyone. Yay. Video game news came and went.
Thanks. Sorry. I'm really starting to feel that with only 3 hours of sleep.
Yes, we're gonna go ahead and check out for now. Thank you to everyone who watched, everyone who listened. If you missed the live show, the archive of the full show is going to happen on YouTube shortly. We're also going to have some specific clips there if you want to check it out. Please do like and subscribe. That helps us a lot with getting our videos out there and getting people talking about video games. Not that needs really help, but like, you know, good talk, good constructive talk is what we're hoping for.
Share us with your friends.
Yeah.
Tell the world.
Yes. We're on social media. We're not posting too much, but we're there. If you want to reach out to us there, we're there. And feel free to join our Discord. That's where we're having some discussion about video games there as well. Another good place to reach out to us about certain things. That's a place to go. Otherwise, that's it. That's a show. So thank you all. Hope you're enjoying your video games, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys. We love you.